Hello and welcome to Wine Chats with Bildo and Lyndalyn, our offensively funny podcast where we drink wine and chat live. We are live on both Facebook and Instagram. We're trying something new today. It is very exciting. So please join us Thursdays, 11:30 Brisbane time. If you are not in Brisbane, I don't know what that is to you.
Google it.
Google it.
Find out. Very exciting topic today. Well, no, I shouldn't say exciting. Yeah. We feel excited and not privileged, but I think we need to tap into a little bit more hearty topics sometime.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
when these lovely people reached out to us, well, you reached out to them, you can tell them the story.
Yes.
We were like, yes, let's talk about something important.
Totally. We are in TradeMutt gear today. And I know that sounds like I'm saying something funny, but TradeMutt. Yeah, Linny, show it off a little. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah. And on the back of Lindsay's shirt, well, I mean, we'll get to it in a second because we're going to have a little catch-up chat first. Actually, yeah, we'll go through the details of the shirt later because I have a few little fun facts about this shirt too.
Don't take over my fun facts.
Speaking of fun facts, Linny.
No, I won't forget my fun fact, the wine fun fact today. Last week I kind of did.
We had a moment.
We had a moment. But speaking of moments, can we have our little catch-up chat? Because we had a moment last week where, so Billy releases the episode and I was about to do my wine episode post, whatever. I'm like, oh, dude, we're in season 3. You just kept going season 2, whatever it was, episode 40 or whatever.
You see, by the end of last year, I mean, I've definitely thought about whether we needed to go into season 3 or not. We never really discussed it, but we never really discussed it because the first season was like 70 something episodes. It was about a year and a half worth of episodes.
And then we were like, wait, should we go to season 2?
And so with season 3, we never really discussed it. And I didn't want to be the one to make this huge call.
It's not a huge
call about our third season.
Do you know what is so funny?
You know?
This is the insight. Sometimes I wish we could record our conversations because this is the thing.
Yeah, really, Lenny?
Yeah. Well, no, our phone conversations, not these ones. So when I messaged Billy about it, she rings me and she's like, oh, I didn't want to make the huge decision.
Right?
I'm like, dude, it's just season 3. Nobody's even really going to pay attention to it except us.
But do you know what? If I had done it, I would have received a phone call. This is what in my head I'm like, we didn't get to have the season 3 discussion, but I did think about it and I'm like, sometimes when I bring new information to Lindsay, I have to do it, drip drap.
She gets scared of me.
I get scared of the response. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to back it up here. But anyway, I reckon if I had done season 3, episode 1, I would have received a phone call from Lindsay being like, we never discussed this.
No, you wouldn't have. You would have received.
So I just didn't.
No, you wouldn't have. I would have been like, good, she's on her game. She knows her shit. She's following the rules.
Don't be silly. Anyway, so this is season 3, you guys. Welcome to season 3, episode 2.
So exciting.
Right?
Can I also say about, because, that was
Go on, Lenny.
I am just very excited for next Tuesday, and you all will be very excited as well because I hopefully will stop bitching and complaining about my shoulder. I'm finally getting a jab of steroid injection.
Okay, but what brand is it?
That was fun.
I had to. I'm sorry.
I don't care what it is.
Right.
Just jab my shoulder, make it feel better.
You poor thing.
So that was my catch up this week that I finally got that sorted.
I'm so excited for you.
What did my 8-year-old say upstairs? Because I was complaining about something and he said, that's just old lady stuff.
He was calling us old ladies for the longest time. And I'm like, this is a little bit offensive if you weren't 8. But you know what else? She was saying to me that after the episode, she's like, you're going to have to help me take my shirt off because she can't lift her shoulder up.
I can't.
To take it off.
Because these ones don't button all the way down. They're cool little over the head ones. I literally can't.
So we're going to have a special screening later of helping Lindsay get out of her shirt.
Nobody
I think is probably the best way to do this.
No.
That's it.
Speaking of the shirts, enough catch up. Because we don't care. We don't care what happened to you last week. Let's talk about these shirts. So
nobody wants to know that I bought some lingerie and tried it on.
Did you? Did your mum buy it again for you?
No, my mum did not. We need to have a lingerie tales part 2.
Yeah, I was going to say this isn't a catch-up topic. This is a topic.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you that it's a catch-up. It happened in the last week and I look adorable. What do you think I'm wearing underneath this right now?
I've got nothing to that. I'm sure you do look adorable.
I do.
I don't want to picture you in it.
Do you know what the funniest thing is? Trying to be sexy when I'm so motherfucking goofy.
Dude, remember my story? Yes. How it took me forever to come out in mine because I was just like, I felt so unco and not sexy.
Yes.
I was in my house coat. I wanted to keep my house coat on.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, a whole new topic, Linny.
Okay. Wait, have you used it yet?
Yes.
Okay. Well, quickly, or do you want to save it for another?
I mean, we could do it. What's the quick question? That depends on...
Well, no, I'm saying if you were goofy and you used it, did something funny happen with it?
No, nothing funny happened. Okay. I was amazing and I rocked my husband's world.
Oh my God, I'm not ready for this.
Did I? I don't know. Again, I was goofy. I don't know. I'm like, guys, look.
Guys?
Yeah, guys. Gentlemen, feast your eyes.
Henry and who?
Next week, you guys are going to get a link direct to my OnlyFans account. So just keep an ear out on that. I have a set of lingerie people. I'm ready to go full out.
I think we need to stop and save this for a whole nother topic.
Okay, let's talk about TradeMutt. And I guess the topic today is really about how men get the shit end of the stick a lot of the time. So we've got a few... Should we drink some wine?
I was going to say.
This is what keeps happening to us. We've changed up we don't even know what we've changed up. The way that we do the episode. Okay. And we continue to forget about the wine because we didn't want to do the wine front up. Sometimes it takes us.
Stop talking.
Well, I'm giving you an opportunity to get the fucking wine. Good Lord, woman. Work with me.
I was waiting for you to stop talking so I could get the wine.
Get the wine. Anyway, today, Lindsay, what are we doing today? We are. And I literally even said to her before we started recording, I'm like, what are we going to do with the wine? And
no, I totally knew. I just, failed. The Hincy. Mm-hmm. Now, the two founders of the Hincy, Richie and Justin, they are celebrating their birthdays this week. They're such spring chickens. We have no idea how old they are, but I'm sure they're...
young and beautiful.
Well, they are beautiful, yes. So we thought in honor of them, we're going to do a nice rosé. And look, it is so muggy.
Yeah.
It's like sweating.
Just splashed water in my face for those of you who couldn't see.
Oh, well, whoops, how rude of me. I'm pouring mine first.
Right.
So we're doing the rosé. We haven't done the rosé in a while. We have featured it before. But happy birthday to you guys. Go check them out. We have a code, 25% off Wine Chats.
That's right. And this week, I think by Sunday now, by the time this episode comes out, it's already too late. But for those of you watching, listening, whatever, by Sunday, if you order their wine, they'll remove, because normally what they do is for one bottle of wine you buy, they remove 10 plastic bottles out of the ocean. For their birthdays, they're removing 30 plastic bottles for one bottle of wine that you buy. So seriously, buy up. Okay. Cheers. We're not going to tell you what we think about it.
No, we're just going to sip throughout the episode. And after we've savored it and, enjoyed or not enjoyed, we'll talk about it later. Okay, now I rudely interrupted your very important conversation about these shirts.
Yes.
Go.
Let's talk about
We're back on track.
I love these guys. We've actually known about them for a very long time. A couple of years ago, we went to a networking event. I remember seeing them straight away because they were wearing these really flamboyant shirts, and there were these couple of dudes that were really, just looked adorable. Now, these are like proper tradie shirts, but they've got designs that are like this all over, if you know what I mean. So they don't necessarily look like tradie shirts. Anyway. You should go check their website out. What's really cool about them is that they founded... Oh, and I should give a bit of a trigger warning now because we will mention suicide. So switch off if it's not your jam.
Suicide and...
It's no one's jam.
Some DV stats and, touchy, opinionated topics.
Stuff. So don't,
And she can be really offensive. So
I can't... She's the offensive one. I'm the funny one. God. Anyway, let's talk about TradeMutt. They founded this company... back in 2016. It was after one of the guys, so their names are Ed and Dan. One of Dan's friends took his own life, very tragically. He was very young. So they actually started TradeMutt, which is colourful and functional gear, which you can see, for all tradies and workers. So they can look and feel great and in that way also reduce suicide rates. Because what they've also done is they've actually founded an entire new foundation called TIACS, which actually stands for This is a Conversation Starter. And in each of their shirts, Lenny, if you will model for me, they actually have this way. Yeah, so they've got, and this is a little bit, oh no, it's not backwards to you, but it actually literally says This is a Conversation Starter on their shirts. So obviously, do you mind? They want to start conversations about men's mental health. So what they did was they started this whole foundation where they, you can ring in. It's a let's see, they're born from TradeMutt. It's just a free and sorry, go on. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to give you a moment to look for it because I was going to say in my mind, and this is totally stereotyping, but you would think of a tradie like this big, tough guy, right? That he doesn't have any problems and he should be able to sort out his problems. Right. And, it's a wussy thing to do to talk about your feelings, which it's not. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer, but why hasn't this been around before, right? Like to help these guys.
That's right. And I think that they obviously saw that. They saw a point in the market that's like there's a lack here for men to feel comfortable calling up anything, reaching out for help. You know what I mean? So it kind of to me seems like they are very, charismatic and personable, these two guys. So it's almost like, when you call TIACS, I feel like you're calling a mate. It's like you're calling for a yarn. So TIACS, this is a conversation starter, obviously started by the TradeMutt guys. And they realized how many people were reaching out for mental health support without actually getting any. So this is a free and easy and direct mental health support. You can call for free counseling or access their website for mental health information, essentially. There's also a couple of different stats that they had on their website that I'll just pull up because it's really cool, like the amount of people they've managed to help just through this company that they started. I kind of feel like because they started it from the ground up, it's cool to see what they've done. So over 3,300 clients supported. So that's how many people would have called in the last couple of years, I think, since they founded TIACS. 65% of those people were first-time callers to any kind of counselling.
Yeah, see? Exactly, because like the big burly, I'm tough type of guy, yeah.
That's right. And also, like, where did they find that information to begin with? It's kind of cool that this is directed at tradies.
Yeah.
2,400, more than 2,400 hours of conversations are funded, like have been funded.
Oh, right. Okay.
More than 1,100 of callers refer to formal mental health care. So obviously, I just feel like they're making waves,
Yeah.
And look,
what's the money one?
This just says 721,000 more than market value of services. So the total estimated equivalent market value of services provided to TIACS clients for free.
Right.
So what they do is essentially they get a whole bunch of like different companies to try and obviously, fund this project with them. So along with TradeMutt and different companies, they are able to fund free counselling for.
So obviously they're making a huge difference.
Obviously they're making a huge difference. I think even if you were to help one person who needed someone to call and they found someone to call, it's amazing. Yeah. Plus there's this is my little fun fact. Oh. Linda Lynn, on your shirt, let me touch your boobie a little bit. Oh. On your shirt, there's you see the little...
Yeah, what is that?
It says...
I keep hitting the mic.
It's YNWA. Okay, and this is directly for their friend who took his own life, again, tragically.
Yeah.
Because it means you will never walk alone.
Stop.
So you'll never walk alone. YNWA. This is so beautiful to me.
Yeah,
because
it is.
Men for men, and it's like they obviously saw that there was... that there was a lack there. Yeah. So it's really cool that they've created this stuff so the men can start talking about it and talking about their feelings. Obviously, we all know women like to talk about their feelings. Hell, we like to talk about anything.
we probably talk about them too much to
We talk about
people,
too much
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
But men don't get that. And there's been definitely times when I've even said to Henry, like when we've had like fights or something, that I'll say to him, like, go and talk to your friends about this. And he'll say, we don't. Like, I don't talk to my friends about this sort of stuff. So it's cool to like have a conversation starter between men,
Yeah, totally.
Go on, Lenny.
Do we know not to put you on the spot, do we know what this is? Is that his name? Or do we know what that is?
It's a foxtail. I just made that
you
up.
said
I have no idea.
So
right? You say it with
quickly.
confidence. No, I think this might be the TradeMutt logo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What a random thing to say.
I think it's a little doggy.
Tail.
I actually think it's a little doggy ears. You see one's folded over?
Oh,
yeah.
A mutt.
Yeah, mutt.
Yes.
TradeMutt. Like
it is.
MUTT.
You're so clever. Did you just think that? Because I think you're right.
Well, also I've seen their logo like a million times.
Oh, right. That would be
I get the gist that...
Yeah, TradeMutt.
TradeMutt.
That must be it. Puppy ears. Okay.
Check them out, guys. TradeMutt.com. Check them out. Google them. Come on. You know how to Google. Just do it.
Are you done?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Drink. Look, I think it's fantastic. And when Billy said that we were getting free shirts, I'm like, oh my God,
totally
cool. Because we get to talk about some sad, crazy stuff that I think people don't talk about very often. And when they do, see, this is the thing, where I'll probably offend people. It's always normally, Facebook comments. Sorry, we're doing Facebook Live for the first time too. Look, Tom.
Hello, tradies.
Hi, Tom. Normally these topics are always addressed towards women, right?
Yes.
Like it has to do with women. So I think it's really important for us to highlight that this happens to men.
Yes.
Which is what I'm now going to read some stats. And I know the stats sometimes can be boring. And we always say we're not a factual podcast. But I think to get the point across, we need to read some of this stuff.
You need to know some stuff.
Yeah, some stuff.
Yeah.
Now, because I know none of this, I had to Google it, right? Obviously. From the Australian Institute of Family Studies. So a government website. I didn't just pull it off of some random place.
Off a Facebook meme. Okay.
Okay.
We should make our own meme, actually. Spread that shit. Go on, Lily.
Oh, God. Up to 25% of men experience a diagnosed mental health disorder in their lifetime, and 15% experience a disorder in any 12-month period.
Right.
So that's huge, right?
Huge.
That's
huge.
all. And again, like all of those men and like the tradie type people and like, you know, they don't talk to the friends, like what you're saying with Henry.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they don't talk to people. So they would bottle it up. It would fester away. And then that's when shit hits the fan and things get real.
Totally.
Right? Like
totally.
That stat, I was like, oh my God, up to 25%.
So that's 1 in every 4 men. There's
Good.
some more math for you.
Good math, Billy.
Fact.
Good math.
Thanks, Lenny.
Look, I just thought that was a bit crazy. That's
I
all
agree.
I have about that, about the stats that I found on that, because I don't know.
It's sad to me. It's sad to me that I feel like that there's so much bottling up that they do, because we're so easy to coax, you know, in terms of like, Lenny, what's wrong? And then you just go for, you know, 5 times. You don't need more than that. Whereas men really don't talk about stuff.
No, and I think it's because the topic as well is like getting the shit end of the stick, right? Basically for men. Because I think they draw the short end of the stick is the real saying.
Right.
Right. With a couple other things in life. And I wanted to just bring up.
Yeah. Waiting for it. Do we have the same thing on the list?
No.
What happened to you?
No. Because I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, no, I have to word it. Anyways, I'm rambling. Just rewind. Work your magic and rewind. No, because I think men really do have a shitty end of the stick with certain things in society's perception, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing that has always bothered me, and we did an episode about this ages ago, but how especially older men, when they're out in public with little girls, say it's a grandfather at the park with his granddaughter, how society will look at them like, oh, is she supposed to be with him? And why is he lifting her up that way? Or why is he touching her that way? Or why is he kissing her on the lips? Like all this crap that has been in the society, in social media and stuff about like dads kissing their kids on the lips. Like,
I love that I keep seeing David Beckham do it with a little Harper. He only just came out with like another photo last week or something with them kissing on the lips. And I'm like, good.
Why can't
normalize that shit?
Right? Why can't you?
Like,
I don't get
just
that.
because there's pedophiles out there doesn't mean that fathers are not allowed to be with their daughters, and grandpas. Like, you know, Tom takes my kids out all the time and he's very affectionate. That's just the way we are. Like, I don't want him to not be affectionate because he's worried about what people think, you know?
Yeah, and he shouldn't. Your girls are going to be like, my grandfather loves me and shows me that he loves me. Yeah. Like, why? It really irritates me, and I always feel bad that some grandfathers probably feel uncomfortable about it, or even some dads would feel uncomfortable about it, right?
Whereas a grandma or a mother wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the part where it's a shit end of the stick for men.
This is another little, not as heavy as mental health, but okay, there was a situation where I was at my kid's gymnastics class, and there's this dad. He goes to the same, his kids goes to the same school as mine. So I see him all the time, right? You live in the same little area. You see each other at different places. And he's obviously the stay-at-home dad. His wife works. He looks after the 3 kids. Okay. So he takes the kids to gymnastics, school, drop-off, pick-up, whatever. So he is at gymnastics the one night with his one kid's doing gymnastics. 2 of them are waiting with him, right? And his one little girl, I don't know, let's say she's 2.5, 3, is having a tantrum, like full on tantrum.
I love seeing somebody else have a tantrum.
Right? It's like, it's not mine. Yes.
Exactly.
But like, you sympathize with him and you're like, oh yeah, you know, he's got it. It's his kid.
He's fine.
And she's having like a proper screaming tantrum. Now this older lady that's sitting in front of me, so I've got a bird's eye view on this whole situation. This older lady keeps like looking over with her judgy eyes, right? And I'm like,
lady,
he's got like just his kid's having a tantrum. It's nothing big, whatever. She went over to him and I felt so bad for him. And she said, do you need help? And I was like, bitch, those are his kids. He doesn't need help, because this is my issue. If that was a mom,
I was going to say, if that was a woman,
nobody would have went over to her and said, oh, do you need help? Unless if she was like you could see visibly, that she was, you know, struggling. I just felt really bad for him. And you could tell he felt uncomfortable. And he's like, no, I'm okay.
Like, they're fine.
Like, I just think that's really shit that, again, society looks at that situation and judges it just because it's a man. You know?
Well, look, I'll stay on topic. And
That is topic.
Right? No. I mean, I'll stick with what you're saying.
Oh, right.
Add on to it.
Go.
Let's move on to other shit sticks that men get. Break time.
Facebook Live is telling us stuff that we don't know.
We've never done this on Facebook.
Look, if you are watching the Facebook Live,
I think that's Tom. Hi, Tom.
Feel free to send us a message later and tell us any issues.
What your problem is. Okay.
Okay. Be nice.
Divorce.
Yes.
Right?
I can't believe I didn't even think of this one. Yes.
I Googled it. I did my research.
Okay.
I did a Google search, aka research. I think divorce, I came up with a whole article about a couple of different things with divorce. Let me look into my very good research here.
Billy wrote down so much crap on her book. I'm like, how are you going to even know?
I have a little book.
But it's so disorganizedly
Plus,
written.
my handwriting is hideous.
So is mine.
I actually I can hardly read what I've written. But that's okay. I'm a professional. I'll keep on keeping on.
Are we? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Many studies have been done on the subject of divorced men. Would you believe it? And actually, all of those studies, I mean, again, I speak very loosely. You can Google this yourself. Have come back to say that divorce is actually harder on men than it is on women. And there's a few different reasons, right?
Yeah.
First of all, women grieve openly and men don't. Yeah. So they obviously keep all their shit bottled inside, and then that actually causes they bottle up their emotions, and their mental health declines dramatically.
Of course.
Duh. Also, men miss their children. And most of the time, they don't get to, surely, I mean, obviously some people do it 50-50, having their kids and whatnot. But a lot of the times, I mean, again, I say this loosely and we don't know situations and this and that, but courts do tend to side with mums, and obviously the kids also...
Totally.
But
that's a short end of the stick as well.
Yes.
That it's automatically assumed that the children will be better off with the mums.
That's right. What about stay-at-home dads, again, who stay with their kids and are more involved in that side of... I don't know. Yeah. So they miss their children is the thing. And, that's sad. And they're more likely to self-medicate as well, because what else are they doing?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Self-medicate what, like with alcohol?
Or like
actually like Valium?
I think all of the above, because they're bottling up their emotions. They're not talking about it as openly, so they're not able to get it out as much. So they're obviously feeling more and more stressed, and they self-medicate, whether it's alcohol, drugs, legal, illegal, whatever. So I think they're more likely to sort of go down that path. Whereas women tend to have more support around them because we're chatty, we'll bring in people to help us, whereas men don't really do that.
Yep. Okay.
And actually, my next point, women have a greater support network. Yeah. Look at me being smart.
You were so smart,
right? And they come out stronger following divorce.
What, men do?
No, women do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I would get that. They would feel more empowered and like, I got this, I can do it type thing.
Plus, we're more about like self-improvement in a sense.
Yeah.
We kind of want to be, not to say men don't want to be better, but what they do is they try and move on too quickly.
Men do.
Okay. So men try and move on too quickly, which means they haven't actually grieved properly. And they don't ever kind of overcome the anguish that they felt. They just kind of put it away and let it fester.
I would feel if I was a man and went through a divorce and say my ex-wife got the house, the kids and everything, I would just feel defeated and I don't want to say loser, but like you would feel like, well, what good am I?
Totally.
Thing, right?
Yeah. Like and what else is there for me to do? Like my family's not here. My kids aren't here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really sad.
It is really sad.
I do really struggle with stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm very happily married and stuff, but I have always, Cameron and I have talked about this, like, jokingly, about if I were to leave him, because he owns, anyways, doesn't matter. We have property. And I'm like, I wouldn't even go after something that wasn't actually mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Back in the day, he owned a house that he bought before me. I'm like, dude, I don't want your house. Yeah. If anything were to happen, you have your house. Like, I feel really bad for some men because some women are really fucking shitty. Like in, you wouldn't have watched it because it was on Apple TV, but The Perfect Stranger. No, The Perfect Therapist. What's that? Oh my God. The Shrink Next Door.
Great story, Lenny.
The Shrink Next Door. It took me a minute, but I got there. But like in there, one of the little clips was of an ex-girlfriend calling up the guy saying, you promised me a trip to Mexico. It's like, bitch, please, you're not even together. And you're wanting to cash in on your Mexican trip. But girls, we are bad. Like,
we are bad.
We
And unfortunately, and again, please don't take this the wrong way. I don't want comments saying, but men do this and that and blah, blah. Like, we don't want any. Like, we get it. We get it. There's, sure.
Make your point.
But how easy is it for a woman to pin anything on a man these days?
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, whether it's sexual assault, again, like, I take nothing away from real victims and all that. Like, that's not kind of what we're talking about. We're literally talking about just how easy it is for men to really go down a slippery slope, especially when it comes to something like sexual assault, like DVOs and like, I know you've got some DV stuff you want to talk about as well.
Yeah, but let's give her wine review, because I think are you a bit heated?
Always.
In your lingerie?
Yeah, right?
Ew,
that's a whole other topic. I know, Lindsay's so disgusted, but
God, only because I think of your yucky smelling sex candle and lingerie.
I need a new one. We've run out of our sex candle.
Can you not get the yucky smell that
no,
you have? Anyways.
I think I found a new one, which is like coconut and lime. It kind of gives you a little beachy feel.
I was going to say, isn't that like holiday? Anyways.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Speaking about feels, this rosé, okay, I was thinking about when I was picking the wine for today. I really want to love rosé more than I do.
Okay.
Because especially being female, the stereotype is girls go out for lunch, rosé all day,
yes.
right? And we're in Queensland, it's hot, it's nice and refreshing, whatever. I've never been a huge fan of rosé.
I would never buy it. I would never go out and buy a rosé. Would you?
I would if I was about to go
to a girls' event.
Yeah, that I knew the girls liked rosé.
Yeah.
And I've shared many bottles of rosé when I go out for girls' nights, because a lot of us drink rosé. But if I was just buying a bottle for myself, no, I wouldn't necessarily buy rosé. So I'm like, oh, look, we'll do rosé. We'll try it. But I have to say, I'm actually enjoying this one. And I'm not just saying that.
I am too, and I'm not just saying that. To be honest, I'm the same. Do you know why? Because I feel like rosés tend to be a little bit sweeter, or maybe I think they're sweeter because they're pink, so I don't necessarily like... I'm not attracted to them in that way, But I'm definitely... This to me almost tastes like a really beautiful white wine with a pinch of rose in it. It's really nice.
A pinch of rose?
A pinch of rose.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, it is too sweaty on the bottle for me to even read any.
The bottle's too sweaty, you guys.
It's too sweaty. Look, I'm surprised because I'm like, oh yeah, we'll do it. It's their birthday. We'll feature one of their wines. I didn't think I would really enjoy it as much as I am right now.
Yeah, it's actually really delicious. Plus, again, it's a hot day. It's a really nice, cool wine. You can't go wrong. And they're removing 30 plastic bottles of... I keep wanting to say plastic bottles of water. Yeah. 30 plastic bottles removed from the ocean.
Most of the plastic bottles would probably be water bottles, right?
And if it's not 30, because it's their birthday week, it's normally 10 plastic bottles that they remove out of the ocean. So, guys...
That's crazy.
What the fuck? That's awesome.
And they do all kinds of different types of wine, obviously, not just rosé.
Love it. Thank you.
Fun fact.
Let's do it.
Rosé was the first wine created. I don't know if I ever...
What?
I know.
What?
I can't believe I haven't done this fun fact before for rosé. I don't think I have.
Who told you that?
Google. About 7,000 BC.
They must have had a lot of roses and a lot of wine back then.
You are so stupid. Red and white wines came a few thousand years later.
I wonder if they were all just shoving... How did they even come up with wine? Did they just shove a bunch of grapes, leave them in the sun,
step on them,
hope for the best?
Yeah. I don't know. I should look that
7,000 years. Yes. No, 7,000
BC. That's
9,000 years before.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
And the first wine, a few thousand years before red and white.
I hope we taught you something today, because I'm baffled by that.
I taught myself something as soon as I Googled that. I'm like, what?
Well, thank you for that very important information, Lenny.
I thought it was very interesting. Okay, so the other interesting
thing... This does
not
make me want to go back to talking about really sad stuff. I know.
No, I know, but Billy...
I know. It just makes me sad. I don't like talking about sad things, which is why I don't watch the news. But go on. You tell us about some stuff, Lenny.
Yeah, the news. It's not good, but it is good. Okay, so obviously one of the big things which you just touched about?
Should we talk about touching?
Talked about? No, but touched based on? Touched on. That's
good Lord. Let's start
that again. I'm actually enjoying this wine. No, about domestic violence.
Right.
Okay. Now, people we don't want to offend people, right? And it's very touchy right now over in Australia because I believe it's actually literally a week ago today that poor woman, Poonam, and her daughter, I had to write her daughter's name down, Vanessa. Were unfortunately killed by a man, right? Her husband and father. Horrible.
You fucktard.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. He fucking sucks.
Yeah.
He does that.
Oh, 100%. And like there's so many stories. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bit like this comment is untimely considering that situation. But I do have to say, me personally, whenever a domestic violence story comes up, obviously 99% of the time it's of a woman being the victim.
Yes.
But I always think to the men, not the fucktards in the situation, but the men that are in a domestic violence.
Who are on the receiving end of domestic violence, yes.
Because obviously they're there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm not taking away the fact that the percentages are so ridiculously outweighed, but I do feel sad for some of these men in this situation because, again, I would think if I was a man in that situation, you definitely wouldn't talk to people about it, right? Because, like, you're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to be the stronger one, all that kind of bullshit, right?
You can't be seen as weak because that's such a taboo, you know, to be a weak man, whatever that means.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I, again, was looking on the Australian government website, Institute of Health and Welfare. So 1 in 16 men in Australia, so these are obviously Australian stats, and this was back in 2016. I couldn't find anything more recent. I don't know, maybe I need to spend more time. But anyways, in 2016, had experienced physical or sexual violence by a current or previous partner that they lived with, right? So 1 in 16. Definitely not compares to the women, but it's still happening.
Yeah.
And I just think like...
And we don't, it's almost like nobody cares about it. But like in everyday life, it's not like you think about that sort of thing. Every time you hear a woman go through it, you're like, oh, fuck, you know, but a man goes through it, it's like, psh. But, are you really, you know?
But the thing is, we don't hear about it. This is my point about this. Even though it's only 1 in... I shouldn't say only. Even though the stat is 1 in 16.
Yeah.
I have never in my time living over here seen on the news about a man being killed or abused, hurt, injured by their partner. And
I guess that's where we, again, enter tricky territory because obviously I feel like women are maybe better at hiding. That's like if it's in a switch. I know, but women don't necessarily kill their partners. We're just terrible at like manipulating and like beating in a sense that's like really quiet. Whereas like a lot of the time you hear about it in the media when it's reversed. It's the woman has typically ended up.
Yeah, but there's situations where the women have killed the husband as well or the partner.
Yeah.
I'm
sure there is, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
You just don't hear about it in the media at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like I haven't seen on the news
I've never.
about a man being killed by his wife.
Yeah.
Again, I know the stats are lower than females. 16% of men, again, this is from 2016, had experienced emotional abuse from a current or previous live-in relationship, like partner, right? Yeah. So 16%, like that, I feel bad for those 16% of men because like...
Nobody cares about them.
Well, who do they talk to?
Who do they talk to?
Yeah, I don't know. And I was reading a thread on Facebook. And again, I know Facebook, it can't... Anyways, you take it with a grain of salt. You don't know 100% how accurate it is.
Yeah.
But one gentleman was commenting on this situation about how like if a woman were to and leaves their current situation... horrible situation with their children, they have all of these different organizations to help them.
So much support,
which obviously amazing. But this gentleman was saying, and again, I don't know how true it is, but he was saying when he went through his situation, he was obviously on like the victim end.
Yeah.
There was no support system for him to leave with his children.
Yeah, like where do you go? Can you go into the same shelters as women?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't think that a domestic violence shelter would be like
co-ed, whatever. Yeah,
I wouldn't think so.
Then where do you
but
go?
I just thought like, oh, how sad is that? Yeah. Again, I'm sure each state and each country would have a different setup. But I was like, man, even if he's incorrect for his situation, he felt at the time that he went through that there was no support for him to leave with his kids. Because again, like if you're the male on that other end of it and you want to leave, like normally with the women just automatically pack up the kids and leave, right?
That's right, yeah.
But I was like, oh, what an eye-opener. Like this poor guy like if he chose to leave, he had to leave without his kids.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, I don't know.
Because what if you do have, again, like women can be extremely abusive. I know from myself on the occasion that I get crazy. We know the like depth that we can go to, which is really, can be a really scary time for men.
I think so too.
Should we lighten it up? Like what's a shit end of the stick that Cameron has?
Well, look, I was just going to say on that note, this isn't about, I didn't even think about Cameron. He has such a perfect life. Seriously, like, hello. Mm-hmm. No, but kind of. It, like, I was like, what would I hate about being a male? Balls. I would hate having balls.
Okay.
Balls and penis hanging in between your legs and drooping down as you get older and older. I mean, I think a worse shit stick, and like if you're going to hold a stick and there's going to be shit on one side and you know, like I think the woman is holding that end of the stick in terms of genitalia, considering shit comes out of us. And no, I'm just thinking every day. Don't think about all the hormonal stuff and like from the age of 10 all the way to the day you die.
Whole idea of nuts and sack and whatever
hanging in between your legs.
Yeah, but you put on undies and just it's like
but it's still there.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Well, obviously you would.
I think if somebody gave me like nuts and a dick now, that would be different, because then I'd be like, what the fuck is that? What do I do with that? You know, but like growing up with it, you'd be fine, surely. I think mowing the lawn would suck, because God knows I would never. Why? I think that's the shit end of the stick in my house, because we have a huge lawn and I've tried it once. I got through about a third of it before I literally gave up. It was hideous. And that's the thing that I wouldn't do. Like, honestly, if it was up to me and I was living by myself and God forbid something happened to Henry.
Yeah. You would just hire someone to do it.
Oh, I'd like concrete the bitch. Yeah. I'd move into a unit.
Or just hire someone to do it.
Or just concrete it and never think about it again.
Concrete would...
What?
Oh my God.
Done.
You could wear your spiffy new shirt to keep the sun rays away from you.
I just feel like I'd be so hot and frustrated. I just wouldn't do it. And he just powers on. Like, good on him.
I love cutting the grass. No. I haven't cut the grass in ages, but I love cutting the grass.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do you have any funny little light? Because we got to end it on a lighter-ish note.
Yeah. There was this one time in our house where we came downstairs and there was a possum hanging by his tail, upside down, completely looking dead. Like he was totally... Looked like he was electrocuted in our house downstairs.
Oh, right. Underneath.
Right in the garage, yeah. Uh-huh. So Henry like calls me and he's like, oh my God, come downstairs and look at this thing. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, like I see this and it's a hanging possum. Like, what do we do with him?
Just leave it.
And so Nat, leave it. It's in my garage. It's hanging above the car. Like, what am I going to do? I can't just leave this dead possum there. So obviously I looked to Henry because I'm like, well,
it's not dead. It's sleeping.
I'm not going to touch that. He was hanging like on his tail upside down. He looked frozen. Oh. Like he looked like he was already in rigor mortis.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he was not like, it wasn't like he was having a sweet little nap.
Yeah. So he was dead.
He was dead. Aww. I'm not going to fucking touch that thing. Are you kidding me? I'm a lady.
Oh.
And he's the man of the house.
Right. Okay. Oh, God.
So what do we do?
That right there is the problem. He's the man of the house.
Right?
He's going to be tough and strong.
Exactly. So what do? We walk across the street to the tradies across the street.
Again.
Right?
Yeah.
And I find the meatiest tradie I can find, and he ends up being Croatian with these giant hands. And I'm like, look, can you please come with me across the street and look at my house, because there's a possum hanging and both my husband and I are too.
Henry, you fucking pussy. You could not even
get... touch this thing.
You don't touch it.
This fucking tradie, bless your heart, Milenko, or whatever your name was, he fucking grabs this thing with his bare hands.
Ew, just get a stick.
Unhooks his... The possum is alive. He's alive. He is totally freaked out. I think that he got electrocuted in there somewhere and just totally tripped out. I don't know how. I don't know what happened to him.
You have live wires in your garage?
I don't know what happened to this possum. But anyway, this fucking tradie picks him up like by the neck, undoes his tail and fucking walks him across the street to the park, lets him go.
Possums have like really bad claws. What did you do? Did he wrap it in a towel?
I don't fucking know, Lenny. All I know is there was a big tradie shirts, right? Okay, saving the day. So I feel like I incorporated all the points that we wanted to make today in that one little story.
Well, I hope he went and debriefed with someone after his traumatic experience.
He was so like, fucking, I'll do it. It's okay. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, please do. And me and my sweet Asian husband are just standing there being like, go, you can do this.
Henry, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Why should he be ashamed of himself? That's the point, Shouldn't I have then equality people? I should have done it.
But you didn't.
But I didn't. I asked the tradie across the street. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, all right, let's wrap this up.
Rappity wrap.
Rappity wrap.
was fun. We made it.
We did make it. We did make it. Thank you so much for all of you who also made it with us. Thanks. Find us on
I'm like, Anne.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn,
Facebook
YouTube.
Live too.
Facebook Live. Yeah, so we'll be coming live on Facebook and on Instagram, obviously Thursdays, 11:30. New episodes are released on Monday. So there's a couple of different days you can tune in with us, hang out.
Very exciting, eh, Bill?
Super exciting. Go check out TradeMutt, obviously.
Yeah.
Go buy some Hincy wine. Do all that cool shit. Live a good life. Peace.
See, I don't need to say, this is why we don't need a big long ending, because you just like.
Yep. What's happening next week's episode, Linny?
Oh, fuck.
No, I see. I'm just taking a piss now. Okay.
I'm like, what are we talking about?
We actually do have an episode planned because people keep sliding into our DMs in funny ways. So
very
hilarious,
dramatically,
yes,
and entertainingly,
yes,
yeah. So we have a couple of messages to talk about.
Yeah, and if you want to slide into our DMs with a Dear Bildo and Lindlin,
yes,
please do. We would love to solve your problems on next week's episode. So do that too.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
It involves belly buttons and me being a very, very horrible person.
Right?
Apparently.
That was my favorite. I like that
one. Of course. All right. So we'll chat to you next week.
Bye.
Chat soon. I love saying it like that. Billy hates it.